Welcome to a special edition of Comics Are Awesome, brought to you by Alter Ego Comics. I'm Mark.
I'm Josh.
And today we aren't talking about comics, we're talking about
Star Wars!
The Last Jedi.
Nothing but Star Wars!
I should point out, as we record this, it is Friday morning, December 15th. Josh and I both saw Star Wars The Last Jedi last night in different theaters, and we have not talked about the movie since we each saw it. So this should be interesting.
There could be fisticuffs.
There may be. So
the guy who's been holding up for the arm wrestling, it just might get his wish.
The Last Jedi picks up pretty much where The Force Awakens leaves off. Rey literally has a brief conversation with Luke. She approaches him with the lightsaber instead of just standing 15 feet away, extending it. And the First Order is closing in. Actually, they're attacking the Rebel stronghold or the Resistance stronghold, and that's the opening of the movie. No spoilers there, I don't think, but you do need to know, I think, that it just picks up right where the previous film left off. Mm-hmm. Pick it up and go from there.
So we're doing no spoilers first, right?
This is a spoiler-free, brief review, and then we will get to the spoilery review, which will probably be less brief.
That would be my guess. I liked it. It was good. I can imagine a person who would watch it and not love it. I cannot imagine a person who would watch it and not be glad that they saw it. So if you're debating whether or not to go see Last Jedi and you like Star Wars, go see it.
Yeah, it's Star Wars, and we've had the discussion in the shop. Recently, my team has kind of convinced me to stop watching trailers. Or maybe watch the first one, but don't watch all the 50 other ones that come out that show you more and more of the film, so that you're surprised when you see it, so that you enjoy the film. And it's not like we weren't going to go see Star Wars.
Right.
You know, it's a Star Wars movie. My reaction to it was not as warm as Josh's. I did not think it was great. I didn't hate it. I'm somewhere in the middle. Now, I did have a friend send me a message this morning saying, "Tell me you hated this as much as I did." And it wasn't Josh.
Surprisingly. So
I really felt like I was in the minority. In fact, I was kind of wrestling with this last night after seeing the movie, that it just didn't work for me on a lot of different levels, which we'll get into in the spoilery review. Having said that, it's a Star Wars movie. I'm going to own it. I will watch it again. I will more than likely not go see it in the theater again. And maybe upon repeated viewing, some of the concerns I have will be not as important. But for me, there were several issues that prevented me from liking this movie as much as I wanted to.
And that is the spoiler-free version of the review.
Yes.
And for the same reason we don't really try to we don't avoid trailers, but we don't go out and seek out the trailers anymore. Don't listen to reviews. Just go and see it. And there are lots of movies I love that other people don't, and if I hadn't watched them because of the bad reviews, my life would be measurably less pleasurable. So knowing what I know, having seen the movie, I would still go see it. You're not going to go back in time and say, Mark, don't go, Mark! Your kids, Mark!
It's your kids, Marty! And, we do this just because we know that there are certain people out there that would like to know our opinion on things, and we are, like it or not, are considered experts in the field of pop culture and comic books. I have several acquaintances that, are not as plugged in as we are, and they frequently wait to see what I say about a movie before they see it. So it's the same kind of thing with Siskel and Ebert, if you're old enough to remember Siskel and Ebert.
I just like the sound of my own voice.
There are so many reviewers out there. I mean, everybody with a smartphone or a camera on their computer can be a reviewer. So, like Josh said, just because as we get into this, there'll be several things that I didn't care for about the movie, doesn't mean that you're going to not care for the same things. You may have an opposite feeling, and Josh and I may be split down the middle on this one, which doesn't happen very often, so I'm curious to see how this plays out.
Usually it splits the other way, too.
That is the spoiler-free review. We will give you a 5 count to stop, and then we will continue with our spoiler-filled review of Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Nothing but Star Wars all of the time. And hey, how about that nutty Star Wars bar? Do you recall all the creatures in there? Is that a 5 count yet?
Welcome back.
And hey, Darth Vader. Oh, sorry.
Welcome back. This is when we get into the nuts and bolts of Star Wars The Last Jedi. And I guess I will start with the opening battle, where Poe Dameron single-handedly destroys the Resistance fleet by disobeying direct orders from General Leia. What's up with that?
Are you talking about his ability to do so, or his willingness to disobey orders?
Not his willingness to disobey orders, but...
Did you see Force Awakens?
Yeah.
In that battle, we see him destroy more TIE fighters solo flying in that battle than in the entire original trilogy combined from Han, Luke, and Wedge.
That's because they're better special effects now.
Maybe. Seriously, though, he just zooms around and is constantly blowing up TIEs. They've established that he is the best pilot in the galaxy.
That's great, but the other pilots of the Bombardiers are not the best pilots in the galaxy.
And they almost all die.
Yeah, and those things are destroyed. They're one of their biggest ways to stay alive is completely wiped out because Poe has a plan to make this
work. And it didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
Because it doesn't always work out.
And he's like, well, come on, we got to go back and try again.
Maybe he should have had a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, and I understand Poe is the Han Solo rogue character who's going to fly by the seat of his pants, and
I think everyone in this movie is Han Solo.
Referred to as Flyboy by the leadership. But the opening scene, I'm like, no, you just made a horrible mistake, and it cost you how many lives and how many ships, and I know it happens in the other Star Wars movies.
Well, no, I'm saying that happens in life. People make bad mistakes.
I do appreciate the fact that when he returns, Leia slaps him across the face and demotes him. But still, that just was poor choice, Poe, and it didn't sit well with me.
And I'm not clear on how rank works within the Rebellion. So apparently Commander is higher than Captain.
Apparently.
Which means Luke outranked Han in Empire? Because he was Commander Skywalker and he was Captain Solo. Or is that because Han was captain of the individual ship, the Falcon?
All I know is in Star Trek, Captain is higher than Commander.
Generally, yes.
So, again, where they didn't do their research.
Well, or they just made it up, which is their jam. But
okay. I should have made a list because I was thinking of these things. I was trying to sleep.
I'm so enraged, I can't.
And it didn't enrage me. I was just like, the fact that... Okay, let's talk about Leia being able to survive space.
I'm not thrilled about that myself, but I can live with it.
I accepted it.
We spend a lot of time in these new movies letting the Force do crap we did not know it could do before. Like Kylo Ren stopping blaster bolts in midair, everybody is teleprojecting.
Vader kind of. He deflected them, but...
He put one in his hand. Han shoots him like twice in his hand. That's the only time we see anything remotely like what Kylo Ren did in the first movie.
Special effects.
Maybe. David Prowse, not as agile. I can't... I don't like it. I'm not sure it makes sense, and it definitely isn't necessarily paid. Because I guess my assumption, especially the way it was shot, the way we saw it happen, was this was a Force thing, a Force manifestation of her latent Skywalker blood. Because there's like the little tingles, and like she literally like projects herself across space at one point.
But if she'd never done that before,
Force.
Oh no, it's totally the Force.
Right.
But she would have to be like a Jedi Master to survive that.
Well, Luke opened a whole Jedi Academy. You don't think he ever taught his sister anything? You know, if they didn't discuss stuff?
Ben and Leia were not there at the Mother-Son Square Dance at the Jedi Academy.
And maybe they were.
I felt somewhat like they were stealing a page from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where we all know Carrie Fisher passed away. All of her filming was complete, but none of us knew how they were going to handle it in the movie.
Who died in Wrath of Khan?
Well, with Spock. It leaked that Spock was going to die in the movie. So Nicholas Meyer wrote the scene where they have the training crew on the bridge, you open, and everybody dies. Or Spock dies. So that was the assumption. Oh, this is it. Let's get it out of the way. Well, everyone's waiting to see how do they deal with Carrie Fisher not being around. And I think they threw it out there like, this is it. We're going to, she dies through this explosion. She's expelled into space. That's it. And then, psych, not. So it just, again...
Yeah, I don't like that she could do it, and that it's never really approached or explained in any meaningful way. But that aspect of it didn't, as a meta commentary, it didn't.
Let's pursue that explored or explained in any meaningful way thread, because I feel like the whole movie lacked any explanation on some major things, like who the hell was Snoke, how does he have all these powers?
You don't need to know who Snoke is.
Well, I would like to know who Snoke is.
Well, I would like to know who the Emperor is, but it took 3 more movies for me to find out. We don't find anything about who the Emperor is in the original trilogy. We don't even know. Did they even say Palpatine on screen in the original trilogy?
No, it's just the Emperor.
No, it's just the Emperor. Like, we know nothing about him.
For me, it was not very satisfying to not find out how this guy started the First Order. And so what? Are we going to get... So these are the 3 movies that Rian Johnson...
Does it matter?
Rian Johnson... I needed some explanation on who that character was.
I'd also like to know who Boba Fett is. Still don't really know. Unless you trust Sam Jackson.
Boba Fett was a tertiary character.
Boba Fett has roughly as much screen time in the original trilogy as Snoke does in this one.
I agree, but Snoke was the supreme leader. He's the one pulling the strings. He's the one who sets everything up. He's the one who turned Kylo Ren to the dark side, and we know nothing about this character, and now he's gone.
I don't know if he did turn Kylo Ren to the dark side. We'll see.
Okay. Captain Phasma.
Yep.
Why did we bring that character back, only to plunge her into a fiery death?
She did get a good fight scene out of it. It was an okay fight scene.
She got a better fight scene than any fight scene she had in the first movie.
That's correct. She had more than 30 seconds of screen time.
Yep.
Those are meta problems. That has nothing to do with the quality of the movie. That has to do with your expectation based on...
It does have to do with the quality of the movie because you're throwing these characters away. They're just tossed off.
Yes.
It felt like they were trying to cram...
It's called Star Wars. People die, and it's meaningless sometimes.
But it's meaningless, but we both know that unless you have a connection to the character, their deaths mean nothing. So, okay, all right.
I think that's called being a sociopath. I think you should care about all living things.
Oh, shut up.
Like, if you don't care about someone dying just because you don't know who they are, they're bad guys. Like monstrous.
They're bad guys.
Who's bad guys?
Snoke, Phasma.
Okay. Well, you can make the same, but you can make the same argument. I don't know who any of those Rebel Bombardiers are at the beginning.
No.
So, I don't care that they died? Just because they're the good guys?
They died. No, you didn't care.
I do care that they die. But I think that their death proves a point about war. This isn't star high fives and talk around a table like Star Trek, where we have debates about intergalactic policy.
If you're gonna have characters, main characters with action figures, characters that have their own,
everybody in Star Wars gets an action figure.
Characters that have their own comic book series, it would be nice to have some information about them and not have them appear on screen for a total of 90 seconds and then get killed. Okay. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
What else? The Vice Admiral.
Huck?
No.
Who's the Vice
Laura
Admiral?
Dern.
Oh, Laura Dern.
Hondo,
yeah. I spent like half the movie going, damn it, I know who she is.
Yeah,
and then the credits like, oh, Laura Dern, yeah.
Yeah, so she didn't feel like it was necessary to share her plan. So if she would have just sat down and explained this to Poe, perhaps he wouldn't have staged a mutiny. Perhaps bad stuff wouldn't have happened. All she had to do...
Well, I don't know that any of the bad stuff that happened was a result of his mutiny, was it?
I'm just saying, it seems stupid that she wouldn't share her plan with the best pilot in the fleet who could destroy...
Right, the best pilot in the fleet who, like, 20 minutes ago was demoted because he doesn't follow orders. What if he didn't like her plan and he went all rogue AWOL?
He did it anyway.
Well, it is what it is. She can't...
So the leader of the fleet is not telling anyone what's going on.
She's not telling us what's going on.
Keep going. Keep going. We're going to make it. We're going to make it.
Yes.
No, that was dumb. That was dumb. She should...
Okay.
No.
It's a need to know. If you don't need to know, you don't get to know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. I don't have a problem with that.
No, that's fine.
I have a problem with her plan just in general, but I don't have a problem that she didn't tell people about it.
Yes. Yeah. Are all the leaders in Star Wars idiots?
No. Probably not. I mean, Admiral Akbar's dead now, so they're pretty much screwed. The fish guy was running everything.
The guy that was always
Who was the guy? The first guy that steps out of the trench with the beard. For a second, I'm like, oh, he's standing out important. He's got goggles at the very end of the last battle. Mm-hmm. Like, is this somebody important? I'm like, no, apparently not, because he never gets anything else.
No one was important.
Everyone was important.
I kind of feel like Rose saving Finn was selfish.
I kind of feel like both Rose and Finn have no established ability to pilot a vehicle, and somehow we still sent them out there. Granted, there were a lot of people left, but
you got to send everybody. But if the destruction of this super laser will save the resistance behind this door that's going to be blown apart, isn't it more important to destroy the super laser than to? Because that's what
it wasn't obvious to me that it would destroy this.
All about.
It wouldn't destroy the super
saving
laser.
Lives is how we win this war.
And yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was irritating.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he would have succeeded. I think he would have died meaninglessly.
Maybe not.
All right, so you don't like when people die meaninglessly at the beginning, but you like it when they don't die meaninglessly at the end.
He was going to sacrifice himself to possibly destroy the weapon.
Yeah, but we've already seen like 2 people sacrifice themselves in this movie. We ain't got enough yet.
Who?
Her sister at the beginning with the bombardiers.
Yeah, that really didn't mean anything. I mean, I appreciate her sacrifice. We have a comic book coming out next month called Rose and Paige.
Yeah.
I don't know jack all about Paige other than she had a crescent moon medallion and was able to kick
like
metal hard enough. Yes, I understand, to get the remote to drop the bombs.
Right.
And we have a comic book coming out about her. Yeah.
Well, it's about her and Rose, who's in the entire movie, and
that's
arguably, okay. Dude doesn't like anything.
Rey's parents. We still don't know. We still don't know anything.
We don't know anything.
Yeah. Well, according to Kylo Ren, who can read her mind, and Snoke was powerful enough to link their minds.
I don't know what the hell Snoke is.
There you go. Wouldn't it be nice to know something about Snoke? No?
This is why we wound up with Wolverine Origin. This is why people can't just let mysteries be. If it's not important to the plot, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So let's talk about the problems I had with the movie. A lot of people with me were concerned about tonal inconsistencies. Some of the humor is a little more broad than we're used to in Star Wars.
Yes.
Luke throwing the lightsaber behind him and just kind of a lot of one-off juxtapositions. I think, yeah.
There should have been a rim shot after everything there.
I found it a little jarring, but it doesn't bother me in the broader scope of the film. I always think of like the Jack Lemmon quote that, you know, it's easy to do drama, comedy is harder, and the hardest thing of all is to do drama with humor, which is what life is. And that's, you know, that's what Star Wars should be. There should be drama and there should be humor. I mean, there's a lot of funny moments in the old movies. These are just a little, I guess I see it as so like Star Wars, that's not a good example. Empire Strikes Back is Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz. It's just
Those
a certain.
of you that were born after 1950, you may not know of the movies that Josh is talking about.
Go find the movies. They're classics, but they're all a product of their time. They're paced differently than modern movies, and I think this is more like, well, like the original Empire Strikes Back. I would say like Star Wars, but I think it's a little closer to Empire tonally. It's a different type of shooting. It's paced very differently. Like compare the number of events that happen in this movie are more than the entire original trilogy.
Absolutely.
Like stuff keeps happening over and over again. It's a lot faster paced. It's got
Which was one of the things that I didn't like about it. It felt like a mess to me. It felt like
the first third. I was definitely concerned. As it went on, I was more okay with it. I got over it. But like the beginning, yeah, I was really concerned it was going to be a giant train wreck. But it's just, I think it's and they say it in the freaking movie. You know, burn your old books. We got to start new here. We're the thing they move beyond. You know, there's a lot of meta commentary in this movie, and, you know, high five to you, Disney, to have the balls to have somebody say a line about the only way to get this rich is to be the bad guys and profiteer off war the day after you buy a billion-dollar company and the day before you probably have a nine-figure movie release.
$60 billion company. Yeah.
That's just balls is what that is. No, I liked it a lot. I think it's probably the third best Star Wars movie after Rogue One and Empire, but obviously we disagree on that point. I mean,
You're much more entrenched in the Star Wars mythos than I am.
Well, but there's almost no Star Wars mythos in this movie.
Right.
I mean, like none of that connects to anything. Like all Luke's weird books, I'd never seen those things before. And
that tree,
the giving
does the tree mean anything?
It might.
Is that Yggdrasil?
My guess is, I mean, the tree. Jedi and life and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of tree type things. Well, remember we have that tree story in the prequel to Force Awakens. Luke saves the one tree plant that's force sensitive. So maybe it's that tree.
So since we're in spoiler territory,
Deep in spoiler territory.
Is this the first and only time that Yoda has appeared to Luke since Luke has become a hermit?
Did he not? Oh, since he's become a hermit? Maybe.
It kind of seemed that way.
Well, Yoda calls lightning from the Force, so apparently he can... Or did that just happen and Yoda's just got good timing?
No, he did. And he's like, yeah, you should destroy everything.
Yeah, burn it down.
They're real page turners.
Yeah. It's important to remember that Yoda is a whimsical character,
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I thought it was funny.
He looked a little weird at first, but then it was clearly a puppet that they fixed.
Connor said it looked weird at first, and then... but he's clearly lost his mind as he sits there cackling and rocking back and forth.
Well, that's the Yoda that Luke...
Right, it's the Yoda that he encountered in his old age on Dagobah.
Sorry, there was a floaty thing. I don't know.
I loved that he was there. I loved that I didn't know that he was going to be there.
Sorry.
But I felt like the interaction was, how long has Luke been away? And Yoda wouldn't maybe counsel him at some point about the decisions that he made, because essentially, and this is what the friend of mine who texted me this morning said, Luke is portrayed as a coward and not a hero in this movie. That Rey is begging him to enter the fray and help save the Resistance and help do away with the First Order. He's like, nope, not going to do it. Got hurt last time, caused a lot of damage. I came here to die. You guys go off and do whatever you want to do. And
yeah, he's broken.
I get it, and I agree. He's a broken character, but I think for Star Wars fans, it's difficult to see.
But he does.
Do I think that it's?
Did people in your theater not cheer when he does come back at the end and save everyone?
No, no one cheered.
Well, we had applause in my theater multiple times during this.
When he came
just
back,
bring out in the middle of the movie
when he astrally projected himself back to Crate. Okay,
is it Crate?
Did
they say the name?
Yeah,
okay.
they did.
Is that where the dragons come from?
Yeah, there is a comic book coming out soon. It's a one shot with Luke and Leia on Crate in the old days. But anyway, Luke was a broken character. He was essentially Nick Nolte or Gary Busey in the old days. And so he expended all of his life force, his power, to project himself and do all this stuff, and
that was the impression I was.
Now he's gone.
Hey, did you see two suns at the end? Meh. Some of the other people said that there were two suns. I didn't see it.
I saw one. Maybe there's a bird.
I saw one.
And
yeah,
some
maybe
clouds or something. But just Luke as a character is.
I need Chewie to take a bite of that pork.
Absolutely, porks are dumb. Let's just get that out there.
I mean, they didn't bother me, but I was concerned they were going to be more prevalent than they were. They were minor throwaway jokes.
The nuns that were on
kind of weird. Not disagreeing there.
Yep, that was an interesting choice of comic relief, where they just are around when things go bad. I was left with a very unsatisfied feeling after seeing it.
So where would you rank it?
Where would I rank it? Oh, there's so many Star Wars movies now.
Start at the bottom and work your way up until you get to one that's not better than it. Or that's not worse than it.
I don't know. I think.
Are we talking like episode 1?
I think episode 1 is the worst of the batch. And if we're working up, I'd probably go episode 1. I have a sentimental attachment to Return of the Jedi because of how old I was when I saw it. You know, that I was 10 years old when I saw it, and I grew up with all 3 movies and had all the toys and all that stuff. So Jedi's ranked higher than it should be, probably, in my ranking. But episode 1, episode 2, maybe Jedi, episode 3. I would probably put this there as my third least favorite. I'd probably go episode 1, 3. Episode 2, episode 8.
Okay,
is how it would go for me, ranking from the bottom up. Now again, that over time that may change. Maybe it was a.
Is your theater super packed?
A spot of so mustard. Many people. Yeah, it was super packed. We couldn't even sit together, and they got there. My youngest Christmas program was scheduled at the same time, so we couldn't go to the same theater that the team was going to. We had to see a later showing. So I dispatched my older 2 children after my youngest had his speaking part in the Christmas program to save seats. So they were there 40 minutes early, and we still couldn't get 5 seats together.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah. And, people applauded at the end.
I think at least 3 different points in the movie, people in our theater applauded.
They applauded the Lucasfilm logo, and they.
We got
during
that.
the film. We got laughter and stuff. I don't think we ever got.
Yeah, we got applause. I think when Kylo goes after Snoke, when Luke comes back at the end, and I feel like there was one other time.
And that was it bothered me until it was resolved why he looked different. Like the gray was out of his beard, his hair was short.
There are clues.
I'm
there.
And then
also as a meta commentary, I think if you look at, and this could be in Josh's head because that's where the world lives in the Star Wars, about there's always been this connection between Luke's behavior and the color of his lightsaber. Original Luke has the blue lightsaber. He's more idealistic. He's more the White Knight, the Paladin kind of character. Jedi Luke with the green lightsaber is a little more chaotic. He's breaking the rules. He's having weird break into Jabba's palace plans. And when he shows up with the white lightsaber and is completely defensive and is dodging blows, he's not attacking. That really worked for me, even though I'm like, there's no way he should have a blue lightsaber.
Yeah, and I have
to see
his
whole look.
I have to see it again because when they focused on he focused on the feet clearly to show that Luke was not moving salt. And I didn't catch it at the time, and it wasn't until they go to. Back to wherever he is, Ireland. I'm trying to remember where.
I don't know if they said the name of it. I don't think they did.
And show old man Luke astrally projecting himself across the galaxy to save everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. So how would you? You said you'd put it after Rogue One and Empire.
Empire, Rogue One, this,
really?
Then Star Wars. Maybe I'll watch it again and it'll bother me more. But I think there's a lot to like in here. I think it's. The last 2/3 of it are paced incredibly well. It's a pretty long movie, but it never felt like it to me.
It did. It felt long to me. And that's always an indicator to me that something is off. It could be off within me, or it could be off within the movie. When I saw The Force Awakens, time flew. I was transported back in time, and I think that's what they were going for, and that's why a lot of people don't like The Force Awakens, because it is essentially a carbon copy of.
Well, this is almost Jedi or Empire in reverse. It ends with the ice battle at Hoth, and.
But yeah, it did feel it's 2.5 hours, and it felt long to me. But anyway, that's just us. Yeah. I'm Siskel. Sorry.
Right. No, Siskel's the one that likes everything. Ebert's the one that doesn't like things.
Yes.
You get to be Ebert this time.
I'll be Ebert this time. I'm Ebert.
I'm Roper.
Thank you for watching At the Movies, at the comic shop. Oh yeah. So let us know. You know what? Post some comments and below. Let's start a lively discussion, or head on over to our Comics Are Awesome Facebook group and let us know what you thought. Let's maybe just keep. I don't want spoilers to get out there for people that can't see it for a week or so. So be careful with your comments. Keep that in mind. Let's be kind to those that can't make it to the theater as quickly as some of us can. So, adios.
May the Force be with us always.